Have you been asked to use Microsoft Excel to calculate the amount of depreciation in a particular year using a double declining balance method and doing it in Excel, but you're not quite sure what to do? Well, you have come to the right place because I'm Professor Capko, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in today's video. But first, I want to say I believe something wonderful is about to happen for you today, so be on the lookout for it. And now, back to the video. In this example, we're going to be finding out the second year depreciation using the double declining balance method. So we've got a bit of information here about the particular machine that we're going to be depreciating, and we're going to be using the double declining balance method, and we're looking for the amount of the depreciation in year 2. And this is using a method that if you don't know how to use the double declining balance method, I'm putting a link up here in the corner that tells you a little bit more about it in that video. Now we're going to show you how to use a formula in Excel that makes this super easy. The first thing we want to do is have all the information inserted into the cells. Now, it doesn't particularly matter what order you have this information in it. And honestly, we won't need all of this information that's set forth here, but I've given this as an example, what you might see show up in a problem. And in our case, we've got the depreciation year that we're computing. I'm putting a 2 here because we're problem is looking for the second year of depreciation. So we want the second year of depreciation. And let me actually circle that so you see it. We're looking for the second year of depreciation. So that's why I have a 2 listed here. The cost, that's the cost of the machine, that's listed right here, the $49,100. The estimated useful life, we have that as 10 years, and the salvage value we're given is $9,000. In this case, we're also given the number of units that the machine is expected to produce and the amount produced in the first year. But in this case, it's not really relevant. So I'm going to ignore those for this. So we're going to use the internal double declining balance formula that's built into Excel to make this easier for you. Thank you for that thumbs up. That really helps the channel, and it's very much appreciated. So let's see here. I'm going to go to the cell. In this case, it's this D cell, D12 to be exact, because that's where it's going to have an answer right to the right of the question. But you can put that cell in the formula in whatever cell that you want to use. In this case, I'm just doing it here. As with any Excel formula, you start with an equal sign. So I put the equal sign, and that notifies Excel that we're about to use a formula. And the formula we're going to use is the double declining balance, which is DDB. And that's the formula then. And it tells you that it returns the depreciation of an asset for a specified period using the double declining balance method or some other method you specify. So in this case, we're using the double declining balance method, and we're ready to enter the information into the formula. So the first thing we do is have an open parentheses. Now, hopefully this is showing up on this video. It will actually show you what each entry is required. In this case, the first entry we're looking for is the cost. Now, we could type in the cost, the $49,100. But in general, the whole purpose of using Excel is that you can set up the formula once and then use it going forward for a change of numbers. We could change the numbers around. The formula will be the same, and it'll do the new calculations. So we do that by referencing a cell. So instead of typing in an amount, I'm going to reference a cell. And that's really easy to do. I'm just going to put my cursor over the cell for the cost, in this case, the $49,100. I'm going to click on it. And that, since it's a B5, that enters it right into our formula. I'm going to separate it out with a comma. And the next thing it's asking for is the salvage value. You see that's highlighted, salvage. And we know the salvage value is $9,000. So I go down to that particular cell with my cursor and I click on it. And that imports that over to the formula. I separate it again using a comma. The next thing it's asking is the life. What is the life of the um, piece of equipment or building or whatever you're depreciating? In this case, it's 10 years. So I go to that cell and click on it, and that transfers that over. So if we change these numbers in these cells, it will recalculate the formula. That's the beauty of doing this. So make sure your years your estimated life is in years if you're looking to compute it in a particular year. So make sure the units are the same. Likewise, for the cost and the salvage value, that should be in dollars. I separate it again with another comma, and it wants to know what period are we looking for? Well, as I mentioned, we're looking for the second year, the second period of depreciation, and we have that listed up here for compute depreciation in year. So I move my cursor over and I click on it, and that brings us that incorporates that over. The last thing is, and this is in a set of brackets, it's factor. That's if we're going to use something other than the ordinary factor of double declining. So this is double declining. So the factor is 2. So I don't need to change that. That's the default. If I was doing 1.5 or 3 or something else like that, then I might change it. And you want to play around with that. But in this case, this is double declining balance. The default factor of 2 is what we need. So I'm not going to change it, and I don't need to enter anything for it. All I need to do is close my parentheses, and that will then complete our formula. And when I hit enter, it's going to calculate the double declining depreciation for the second year for this particular piece of equipment. I'm hitting enter. There's our answer, $7,856. So that is an easy way to calculate that. If I wanted to find it for a different period, I could just simply change the period up here, change it to period 3, and hit enter, and it recalculates it. So this is why using a formula is super easy in Excel for calculating double declining balance. And if you have any additional questions, let me know. I do have a membership program. You can join my channel and become a member. There's various membership levels, and I look for my members to provide questions that they want answered. So if you want a particular problem answered, become a member, and then you can message me and let me know what you need worked on, and I can then create a video for you. So I highly suggest you do that. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you.